Everyone dreams of living an uncommon life, and the best asset you have to achieve your dreams is you. Welcome to the Uncommon Wealth Podcast. We're going to introduce you to people who are living uncommonly. We're also going to give you some tools and strategies for building wealth and for pursuing an uncommon path that is uniquely right for you.
Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of the Uncommon Wealth Podcast, where I am your host, Phillip Ramsey.
And I'm Arron Cramer.
Thanks for tuning in. We're grateful that you're listening to us. We're two advisors who kind of get geeked out about letting other people achieve their financial freedom. Use money as a tool. It is a tool to help you unlock what you get excited about. So that's what we do every day at Uncommon Wealth. We take people, we give them financial plans, and then we also manage money in order for them to get excited about their life again. There's a nutshell. There's the elevator speech. Here's the deal. I hate elevator speeches or elevator.
They're so lame.
They're so lame. So if you don't know anything about sales, an elevator pitch is something that you say in 30 seconds, and then you try to get people excited about it. I don't have that, and nor does Arron. But we'll tell you what we did yesterday. We're super excited about it, which seems to be the most authentic way to do it. We're authentic. This is our podcast. It's my parents' favorite show. I heard it's my aunt's favorite show. She said it was her favorite show. So there's three people. And I bet
my daughter listens to it.
Your daughter. So we got four people we're listening to. Thanks for listening. At least four people. We actually did get some analytics recently, which was actually crazy to think about. And so, long story short, we're grateful that you'd spent your time with us today. We don't take it lightly. We're on a series to talk about kind of like money, mindset of money. We're still continuing to do that. We feel like there's a couple things that are important when we're thinking about money and managing money and building financial plans that are super important to you and your financial plan. Arron, you love this topic. I love this topic. We all do.
Yeah.
How have you been enjoying this last series of just the mindset and money?
I really like it. I mean, actually, I lied. I love it. Because your mind and your emotions and your psyche around money is legitimately what either makes you or breaks you when it comes to money.
I think they're so true. We are our worst nightmares. We are our biggest adversaries when it comes to this stuff. Once we can kind of capture that or even think through some of the topics that go through our heads, I think it's powerful. So that's what our hope and intention is today. We're going to talk about three things. As you guys have probably heard in the last couple parts, we talk about three topics. The first one, oh, baby, can I get a witness? Freedom. Holy cow.
Freedom.
So let's just define freedom, because I think a lot of people will be like, well, I'm going for financial freedom.
Oh my gosh.
This is how I define it. And I'm going to hear your definition of it. But the freedom to do what you want, when you want to do it, with whom you want to do it with, is to me freedom. Now that to me, if you can't get excited about something, that could be something you could get excited about. Here's the deal that I'll talk about with freedom. So let's say money's no object. You can do what you want, when you want it, with whom you want to do it. I still think there needs to be a bigger purpose for you. And that's the reason why Arron and I have faith. That's a whole nother topic that we can go down. But I love the kind of saying that the difference between a wealthy person and a poor person is the poor person has the hope that money will change things. The rich person realizes that it doesn't. So for me, I'm super excited to help our clients start kind of chasing this financial freedom. So they have the freedom to do whenever they want, whatever they want, whenever they want to do it, with whomever they want to do it. But if they don't have an ultimate purpose and a guide to help them get there, I'm telling you, it's going to be a lonely deal once you've hit the finish line. So freedom, it's a big deal and people all want it. So you tell me what your definition is. I kind of threw you on the spot.
Man, it's so hard. I guess since we're so alike, since we work together, we kind of share the same values, very similar. But I guess for the listeners, when I think of freedom, so if I don't get triggered in the sense of your uncle,
Yep, Dave. Dave Ramsey, everyone.
Dave
which
Ramsey,
is not really my uncle. I always will say that, but
joke. Yeah. But it's basically, I view freedom as when my alarm clock goes off or I wake up, and as soon as my feet hit the floor, I can do whatever I want. Like that to me is freedom. If I didn't have to go to work, if I wanted to go to Rome that day, or if I wanted to do that, to me is freedom. So And what buys that? I mean, it's finances. Like you can't, right now, a lot of us are imprisoned by our own routine because we have to go pay the bills. We have to do those things.
That's true.
And we need that paycheck every single month to keep on top of the expenses that come in every month. Mm-hmm. But if you can get ahead of that to the point where you start you can start buying time.
That's a good way. There is an exercise that just remind me of is instead of talking about things in dollars, talk about things in how long is it going to take you to achieve that object. How in the world do you do that? We've done a simple step on it, I believe, but it's like, let's say you want to go to, I don't know, Cancun. It's going to cost you and your wife $6,000. I'm throwing this out there. You're probably going to be listening to this in 2030 and be like, $6,000 to go to Cancun? I'm in. Okay. So, and one of our jobs here at Uncommon Wealth Partners podcast is to try to make things evergreen. This is not. All right. So $6,000 to go to Cancun. How long is it going to take you to work in order to pay for that trip in Cancun? Fun thing, right? Like, and you can usually try to figure out how much can you pay, how much you get paid an hour. Okay, then multiply that out, right? Very interesting. Another way to do like 2.0 on that exercise is to figure out how much disposable income you have and how long does it take you to get that disposable income for the $6,000. You'll find that things in time is kind of depressing at times.
Yeah, but you find out what really means a lot to you, though.
That's right. Come on. So freedom. Financial freedom in anything is something I think a lot of us are dreaming of and scheming of and planning for. And it's powerful. And it's something that is going to be very telling on what you then spend your time with. And so one of the questions I'll ask people when we first meet with them is like, hey, money's no object. What do you do tomorrow? And just hear what they say. Like, that's one way we can get people excited about their finances. But it's very telling when you can hear what they have to say. And they usually talk a lot longer than they think they are because they're finally getting excited about their life again. Powerful.
Well, that's like, it shows you that it's different to everybody. I think you find a lot of people these days, and listeners, don't fall into this trap if you can avoid it, if you can help it. But like your version of freedom, financial freedom, is not the same as your next door neighbor.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Everybody's story is different. You're unique to your own person. So like, don't have somebody else tell you what financial freedom is. Hence my joke at the beginning. Like,
reach it.
Just really find what makes you excited. Because the thing is like, for me, I love this job. Like, if I won the lottery, the Mega Millions, like, guess what? I would still wake up and come to work.
That's right.
I love doing this. I love it. I would do it for a lot cheaper, probably, or something. I don't know.
Right.
But like, but I'd still do it, you know?
And you do it in some capacity, which I think is a really good litmus test on how is your life going, listener? Are you waking up every morning? And if money were an object, you would still be doing what you're doing in some capacity. Now, things would probably change, right? Yeah. We might hire one or two more people to take some things off that we don't like to do.
Oh, yeah. I would be just doing what I really enjoy, but yeah.
Yes. But we would still be pouring out and serving people, getting them excited about what their future looks like in some capacity. I think that's another, I would say, your elevator pitch is I get to do what I love to do every day. And that's what we try to do for our clients. Okay, so that's one. All right, you also brought up something which I believe is our second point. Oh, yeah. Which is basically don't use other people's definition of success. Or don't get jealous of other people. You don't know what their situation or circumstances are when they pull up with a brand new Lamborghini Diablo.
Or let's do it like in this generation. Yeah. Don't get caught up on the persona of social media.
Oh, that's good. That's valid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's kind of in this realm. Like, I just feel like
you don't know like what people are dealing with or like how much they had to finance or how much of their monthly expenses go to said new shiny car or things. And so that also is something I think is everybody needs to hear, because in this social networking, social life, and everybody can kind of see everything. Everybody posts a highlight picture of their life. It's so easy to be like, I am a complete deadbeat and I don't have all these new things. But let's be honest, like sometimes these new things are bought with debt that are capturing some of their cash flow every month. And maybe that percentage is too high. Or maybe they are redlining, as I like to call it, of like their debt is encompassing most of their income every day. And they are stressed out of their mind. I mean, they're smiling with their new car. Yeah, I get it. But that's why they have buyer's remorse. Is because they're like, I can't afford this if something were to go wrong with my cash flow. You get it. Let's go.
Yep. I mean, it's just that whole it's paycheck, living paycheck to paycheck. And some people are just living on a paycheck every month that's just much larger than others.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Take the paycheck away, everything goes away.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I found, we get the opportunity to work with some high net worth people. Also, we're not above just like, hey, we'll jump in the trenches with you. You're living paycheck to paycheck, we're in. But what I found early on is if we're starting to talk about like just dollar amounts, it's like, whoa, there's a drastic difference. But when you start talking about percentages, things get boiled down pretty quickly. Like that surgeon might have a lot of money coming in, but he has a lot of money going out, which he's getting used to, right? Then you have a person that works at, I don't know, some 9-to-5 job and has a lot less money coming in, but a lot of less money going out. And so this is why the mentality of, hey, you got to stay in your lane. You've got to be a good planner with the income coming in that you have, not anybody else's. And what is your definition of success? It can't be the surgeon's definition of success just because he has more widgets coming in, but he has a lot more widgets going out. But the percentages are the same to me.
Yep. Yeah.
Or that's
I know this is totally biased because if you're like a really wealthy person, or you really have very strong paycheck coming in, but it's going out every month, you're not typically probably working with a financial advisor.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not going to come to us and be like, hey, I want to start investing, because they don't have anything to invest. But I will say, for all the wealthy people that we get the privilege to serve and help, and that comes from all sources of like income, because you can acquire wealth on lower amounts of income. But it's funny when we sit in front of these clients that have entrusted us, and you see their like mentality. They have a ton of money in the bank. They can do whatever they want, for the most part. I'm not saying like they're like these uber rich people, like famous people, but like they have way more money than what we could dream of to have someday. And they don't care to have fancy cars. They don't care to have like we're talking about like making memories with their family.
Yep.
And experiences.
Yeah.
And
basically what you're saying is sometimes the most wealthy people in the world drive the worst cars. Like the cars they've been driving for forever, because they value things that are different than the other person, the shiny objects, the things that are going to be poof gone here a time. So that's a really good point. So I'm glad you brought that up, because maybe that's why they got so wealthy. It's because they learned how to live under their means, save a lot of money, right? That would be like Warren Buffett's thing. He's like, well, just time is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
For Warren Buffett, that's what he would say. He's like, my X factor has been, I've been doing this for a long time. And I think that he lived under his means, and he knew how to invest a lot of his income.
Yeah.
So
but I also think it's also that mentality too, like a little bit like there's a lot of psychology shows like you're always chasing for the next step. And that's how a lot of these like big brand, like purse companies, watch companies, they get people. They want people always want to be at that high level, But then you look at the like uber rich people or wealthy people, and they're wearing Levi jeans. Like when you have the money sitting in the bank, you don't care.
Yep.
Right. Like it's like, oh, his really fancy cars. Like, oh, yeah, okay, I could buy 10 of those, but I don't desire to have one. Like,
right.
So it's fascinating what happens in the psyche and how we try to chase things. So it's like, I guess for this purpose of this topic that we're on this, is don't chase something just to chase something. Like, really make sure you are chasing what you desire. Like, if you're a car, like I know we always rag on cars, and that's fine. like, I'm not a car person. I know Philip's not really a car person, but if you are a car person, that is phenomenal. Chase it.
Yeah, go
But
after
it's your thing. Don't
Yeah.
make like, if you can't tell me the engines and like all the parts to it and what goes into it, like, it means you're not a car person.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
But if you are, then that's fantastic. But just don't be that person that's chasing something because society, corporate America told you need something to fit your personality.
Yes. All right. Third and final topic is all blending together very nicely. Thank you very much. Is some of the wealth, I would say the majority of wealth, you just can't see. Like, you just don't know. So if you had like 10 people line up and, from the most prestigious Rolex to the greatest custom suit to the old Levi's jeans, the truth is you don't know. You couldn't tell who's the wealthiest or not, right? And sometimes, let's say the most money is in the person who has the Rolex and the nice suit, but his life is in shambles. He's going through a divorce. His kids don't talk to him. Like, that to me is like, you just can't see wealth. And yeah, as much as Facebook thinks that, we're posting our highlight reel, what's really going on there? Because, then the next 2 months go by and they're like, wait, they're getting a divorce? Like, I would have never got that. So you can't really see true wealth. And that's the reason why we put wealth inside Uncommon Wealth Partners, right? Uncommon Wealth. It's not just about riches or dollar amounts. There's a lot more that kind of equal out or add up to wealth in my book. And Arron, you feel the same. But true wealth, I don't think that you can see. And for me, I think you guys as listeners would get this. I really value relationships. That's a big thing for me. I feel like I'm the most wealthiest person in the world because I have such powerful relationships, such amazing, authentic, like, if I go down, people are jumping in after me. That to me is one of the ways that I define wealth. Other people don't, right? It's okay. But to me, that's something that I value very highly. And that makes me feel like the most wealthiest person in the world. I don't have the highest bank account, I'll guarantee, in that 10-person lineup. Guarantee. But I do feel like you can't see the wealth that I kind of value, which is always the case, right? So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I think that wealth is beyond just what you have in the bank account or have access to on a piece of paper.
Yeah. What would you say that you value as your wealth? Because I'd say relationships is one thing for me. What would be for you?
Yeah, mine is, I guess you say relationships, but I narrow it down like friendships and family. Like,
yeah.
I don't have a good relationship with my wife and my kid, then I don't care about how much money I have in the bank.
Yeah.
So,
right. As long as I can pay my bills, right?
Yeah, if I can pay my bills, and I mean, I want to grow. Like, I want to like be able to like work towards buying that time. But I mean, I don't want to get there. It would feel so crappy to get to the point where at the end of your life, you're like, okay, I can buy all this time.
Yep.
Cool. Your time you're buying is by yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So the hole-in-one isn't that fun when by yourself, Yeah,
it's like, cool, man. High five. But who are you enjoying this time with? Because you left everyone behind. You know?
Yes.
So I don't, and we have a client, he said it the best. He's like, I want to get to the top of the mountain, but you know what? I don't want to be by myself. Like, I want to bring everybody else up there with me. If it takes me an extra 10 years, 15 years to get there,
fine.
I don't care.
Right.
I'm not enjoying something by myself. And I'm like, 100%. So I think that goes into like your serving, right? Like, you say relationships, serving, like, I think that's wealth. Like, being able to serve others is just, and spend time with people is just really enjoyable. And then going to be a meathead. That's wealth to me too. Like, having a good weight.
Yeah, that's good. I also think like it's funny. Like, I'm the guy who would say like I want to be on top of the mountain with people, not just this is a beautiful view and then like I'm by myself. That doesn't do it for me. That being said, like, I got to be really honest. Like, I'll never get to the top of the mountain. Like, we'll constantly be pushing of like, wait, there's a higher peak. Like, we got here, now there's a higher peak. And so I think that there is a warning into that too. Is like, don't wait to start living your life. Like, well, as soon as I start making this amount of money, I'll start giving my time more or my resources more. No, that's baloney. Start doing it now. It's like, and start creating this habit of doing what you want to do later even if it's like, I don't even know how to do it. Well, you got to start now, even at a baby incremental step, because it's not something like, well, when this happens, this will now change my personality. That's baloney. That's not how it works. And I love talking to like people before retirement and it's like, oh, as soon as I retire, I'm going to do X, or I'm going to, no, you won't. You've ingrained yourself for 65 plus years, like, and now you're going to do that? Like, nah, I don't think so.
That whole saying, old dogs don't learn new tricks. Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, oh, I'm going to start golfing when I retire. No, you're not.
No, you're not. Yeah, no, you're not.
I can tell you, like, as this podcast, we're running this podcast, I'm 36 years old. And now, granted, I love my job, so it's like kind of a hobby of mine. But I've come to realize I have one hobby, and that's being a meathead and working. Like, you're really good at it. You do so many things. Like, you go ultimate frisbee, scuba diving, hiking, all these things. I'm like, hey, you got an adventurous life. And it's like, but if you ask Arron in the middle of the week, hey, Arron, let's go do something. I don't know. Don't have me pick because I don't know.
Oh, that's good. All right. So that's the third one. I
just can't imagine being 65.
That's the third one, is just you can't see the true wealth of people. But I would challenge people, especially in this podcast, to like then seek it out. If you can't see it, then how would you find out what somebody's wealth is? Well, you'd have to ask them questions. You'd have to have a relationship with them. You probably have to ask some interesting questions. You might have to spend time with them. So there you go.
You have to seek to understand.
Yes. Love it. All right. So there's our 3 points today about money mindset and like getting in this better mode of like, what does it mean? What are some pitfalls? Talked about freedom. We talked about like how important it is to just do what you want to do when you want to do it, with whom you want to do it. Then you have you just don't know exactly what other people are dealing with in their life. And then also you just can't see wealth. Those are our 3 points today. I thought that was a fairly good podcast.
That was great. I hope you all thought it was good listening. But
oh man, if somebody asked me like, what's your definition of success in podcasts? I was like, honestly, like it's okay if nobody listens to it. It's good for me, right? So
I know. I was going to say, I was like, I mean, we work together, but we don't actually get to like see each other that often because we're always working. It's always work time. So to me, I'm like, yeah, this is a time we just get to sit there and talk shop.
Hey, you get to be a fly on the wall. I love it. Okay, You've been listening to the Uncommon Wealth Podcast. I've been your host, Phillip Ramsey.
And I'm Arron Cramer.
Till next time, think about money in kind of a practical way. How is this going to change your trajectory? But we are rooting you on in your uncommon life. Thanks for listening.
We'll be uncommon.
That's all for this episode, brought to you by Uncommon Wealth Partners. Be sure to visit uncommonwealth.com to learn more about our services. Don't miss an episode as we introduce you to inspiring people who are actively pursuing an uncommon life.